Sorry about that. Forgot to turn the mic on. Shout out to the Menace militia. That's the problem with going live. No script, no nothing. I just wanted to do things a little differently this morning. XRP is making some big moves. I will probably be going over Bitcoin in a little bit as well. Currently in an XRP trade that's risk-free, kind of pulling back right now. A bit of a head fake with a breakout to the upside. But this consolidation is nearly done. So honestly, I'm not really too concerned about this trade right here. Hopefully it does get, some sort of reversal and gets pushed back to the upside. I'm actually going to give this one a bit more of a chance here. Go ahead and put it right there. So what I'm doing, guys, is I am just making sure that my analysis is good here, and I want to take you guys through what I'm seeing on the chart. A couple of very, very important things are starting to happen here. Truth is, that is probably not the best place for that order. I will go ahead and stick it below this order block to give it the best chance there, just below this little temporary secondary support. I don't want to go ahead and stick it all the way down here below the primary support of the pattern, just because I know that there's a lot of liquidity there, and if we do start coming down to this area, we're almost assuredly going to get another sell-side liquidity sweep like we saw here. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of mitigating. I know that if we come down to here, we're going to come down to here anyway, so I may as well just take the L right there. But hopefully I end up getting support here. But that's just this trade. The reason you're here is because you probably want to see more about the overall picture for XRP post big rally. So let's go ahead and get into that real quick. A couple of very important things. Number one, if I look at actually I will start with the 4-hour. If I look at the 4-hour chart, this is this entire rally, right? That really, really big push on the Ripple Labs beating the SEC and winning a huge, huge victory for the entire crypto sector, honestly. Okay, so what I have done here is I have gone ahead, and I'll do it again live. I am using my inverse Fibonacci, going from the initial point of the rally all the way up to the swing market high, which I believe is the annual high at about 96.41. That creates the Fibonacci inverse golden pocket here, the 618, the bottom of which is at 66.23. The top of that range is right here at 70, basically 72. So after the initial push, I'll make sure this is really big so everyone can see it. After the initial push, okay, when we pulled back, first we tried to hold support on the 0.5. Got a bit of a retest and another rejection. But when we came back down, we held support. We never actually broke the larger time frame golden pocket, which is a really, really good sign. That's what traders look for when it comes to trying to figure out if something has pulled back too violently and is likely going to continue the trend down, or if you end up getting continuation to the upside. And in this case, so far, we have gotten support on the golden pocket. And every time we push up so far, when we come back down, we hold support over it. And now that's happened a few times. So we are actually trading outside of the Fibonacci golden pocket on the 4-hour time frame. And that's on the time frame that is the largest for this. Excuse me one second. I want a clean chart to break all this down. So I think that that's very important. I think that that is a healthy cool-off, considering the power and volatility of that rally. I was looking at the volume profiles for the 1-hour chart, and they are astonishing when you look at the amount of volume that actually went into XRP as soon as that news broke. So let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick, and I'll show that to you because it's unbelievable. In 1 hour, we ended up having, I'm pretty sure it's about 800 billion or excuse me, oh my God, excuse me, 800 million, I believe it is. Let me go ahead and pull this down. It's unreal. I want to show you guys that first because actually I think that's pretty important. I may be wrong on this. I need to double check the chart a little more thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure that this hourly candle right here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time hourly candle for XRP on July 13th. I'm pretty sure that is the biggest single bullish hourly candle in the history of XRP. And that had a volume just on MEXC alone of $801 million, which is unbelievable. That's unreal. Like, and scaling back through the chart, I had not seen anything, at least on MEXC, that has ever. I've never saw any 1 hour time frame candle for XRP reach that level. It's unbelievable the amount of power and the amount of volume that XRP was having during that time frame. Okay, so I don't like to usually when I'm trading, I don't like to, especially if I'm scalping, I don't like to use these types of support and resistance in order to base my entry and exit on. However, I know that a lot of retail traders are going to be using this, so I'm trying to trade with the banks. Now, there's a few reasons that I suspect that XRP is about to have a really strong breakout. Number one, we are at the end of this pattern, and retail traders are going to expect some sort of a big move, and who could blame them? But what I'm much more interested in is, number one, that Fibonacci, the fact that we have held support over the golden pocket. I think that's key. So that's number one. Number two, go ahead and get rid of that so I can actually see what I'm looking at. On a smaller time frame, you really start to see some interesting things happening. The types of things that you want to see more towards the end of this pattern. Yes, you can see them on a larger time frame. Like, you have a clear downtrend right here, no doubt about it. You have a really big wick right here on this candle. Go ahead and slide that over. A really, really big wick down here, so that's kind of a sell side liquidity sweep. You have the pushback up, which is taking out this swing high right here. That is a market structure shift or a change of character. I went ahead and I set a higher low. And then it just kind of chopped sideways for a little bit until finally we get this move here, which is an outstanding bullish break of structure of this swing high here at 73. Okay, so we went ahead and we had that move. So now, and I'm sorry, that's a bit of a larger time frame that you're seeing that on. But the reason that I'm taking the trade is, I do have that good structure there on a bigger time frame, but I also have it on a smaller time frame. And since I'm scalping, I'm going to be relying heavily on the much lighter time frame. So I'm talking about the 1 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, and the 1 hour. So I have a couple of things that are really working in my benefit here that make me think that, to have a bit of a bullish bias here. Number one is the last significant move we had on the primary trend line for this pattern was sell side. That is sell side liquidity getting taken there. Very, very violent move. This is a 15-minute chart we're looking at right here. So that's fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see. Okay, so that's, especially because we had a clear downtrend leading into it. So also, after that happened, we had the sell side liquidity getting swept there, right there. And then we pushed up and we had a nice change of character here, right at about 73, right around there. Went ahead and set this little swing high here. We pulled back and we set a higher low, also very important. Okay. Started to march up, higher highs, higher lows, slowly and slowly. And then finally, just now, we had a bullish break of structure here, which simultaneously broke the primary resistance trend line for the whole pattern. So we've now pulled back a little bit, back down to these moving averages. We're looking to set a higher low here, and then hopefully get an additional bullish break of structure once again on that swing high, and then start challenging some of these other areas. So that's what I'm looking for. I think the sentiment, at least on the very small time frames, is a little bit more bullish leaning right now, which is the reason that I wanted to hop on the live, because it's a great opportunity to show you guys a decent entry. So I went ahead and I took entry on the order block, and I will show that to you here. I went ahead and took entry here on this candle because we had just held this order block here and just created another one that had also held. So as of right now, we have come back, and one cool thing about this move is there's not really a lot of imbalances. As a matter of fact, there's almost none. Almost all of them have been filled, with the exception, I believe, of this one. So you're talking about a range of 73.26 up to 73.34. I think it's very insignificant. I think that it has been mitigated enough to where it's not really a threat anymore. I mean, sure, it could pull back down. It is on this trend line. That could absolutely happen. And if we do fail to break this trend line, we probably will come down to fill that. But as of right now, we are still in an uptrend, at least on the 5-minute time frame, at least this small little pattern here. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for higher highs. I'm looking for higher lows. And right now, we actually failed to get a bullish break of structure on this swing high here. That's what caused a little rejection there. But I'm actually okay with that because we took out this one here. We have also maintained support over the change of character. Okay, the market structure shift. Okay, we have maintained support over that level right there, and that's this blue line that you see here. Okay, let me go ahead and slide this over a little bit so we have a little more room. And I apologize, guys. I'm still feeling very sick, so it's kind of hard for me to talk, but this is very important. I want the Menace Militia to be fully aware of what's happening at all times, whenever possible. Also, guys, my small disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Understand investing is risky, and I'm going to encourage all of you to make sure you are exercising strong trade fundamentals, strong trade mechanics. You have a trading plan, and you are exercising proper risk management, and never risk more money than you never trade with more money than you are willing to lose, because it is absolutely possible. And if you are new, small additional disclaimer: if you are a new trader, understand that you will likely blow your first account. I just want you to know that. But there are things that you can do to mitigate that. This is highly controversial as well, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent because this is consolidating now. I have a little time, but if you are a new trader, this is kind of controversial in the trading world. There's a big debate as to whether or not it's useful or not. Start a paper trading account. I'm a big advocate for this, just because it starts to get you familiar with, using the trading interface, starting to understand. It allows you exposure to trade real markets with zero actual financial risk. Now, the counter argument to that, the counterpoint is, understand that is the equivalent of playing poker for fun. Okay, that part of what makes it real is the fact that there's actual risk. You're actually risking something. So there is nothing like live trading with actual funds. However, I do recommend that you start a paper trading account. You can do it on TradingView. I highly recommend that you guys do that, because it will start to get you familiar with the concept of using the orders, the different types of orders that are at your disposal, whether that be a limit, a limit order, a market order, some sort of a trailing stop loss, or, on MEXC, one of my favorite types of orders is using the trigger order, which is actually what I do in really volatile markets. And XRP is so volatile right now, I have no choice but to use it. So the way that order works is I will set a trigger price. In this case, it's going to be 73.64. And then I will simply tell it to sell it at the best possible market price in the event that it hits that order. Now, there is a little bit of slippage there, but I like it because it's a bit more of a safety net. It allows me to have a little more peace of mind that, my stop loss is going to, actually dump my entire position or however much I tell it to. I think that's very, very important for new traders and something that doesn't get talked about enough in the trading world, in my opinion. Trying to figure out, how to use the trading interface is extremely important. Becoming familiar with it. It's the same as, learning to drive. You wouldn't just instantly start driving without doing some sort of practice in a parking lot, something like that, or with your learner's permit. Think of a paper trading account as your learner's permit, so that you can become comfortable using those types of orders and trading live markets, and you can actually test strategies too. But that's just my little 2 cents on that. Okay, so back to the trade. So the reason that I took this trade was I was starting to see some pretty good reversal structure. I was starting to see a clear downtrend with obvious lower lows, lower highs here, very, very clear. And then finally, I have a sell side liquidity sweep. I have a market structure shift here. I have the pullback setting a higher low, another sell side liquidity sweep on a significant trend line, setting a higher low on the reattack, doing it again. And then finally, getting a bullish break of structure here. We also had one here, by the way. Now the pullback. So now what I'm looking for is the bullish break of structure of this swing high. Likely we are going to have some form of rejection in this range. And we'll probably come back down here a little bit. Now, it would be amazing to see the price not have this pullback back under that key level right there, that previous swing high. That shows a lot of strength. If it were to just, let's say, break and then come back down and just bounce directly on top of it without really wicking underneath it or consolidating underneath it before getting the move, I think that would be extremely bullish. I would like to see something like that. As of right now, it looks like we may end up getting a bit of a push back, a bit of a pullback back down to the primary support here. So I will probably end up getting stopped on the trade there, I would imagine. Let's see. I'm not risking very much on this trade at all, though it is a significant position. It's 18,241 XRP is the size of the position here. So it's roughly like $16,000 or so, right around there, something like that. Okay, so hopefully I end up getting supported once again on this market structure shift, and then we can push back up. I would like to see that, but most retail traders are not going to be paying attention to that. They're going to be paying attention to the trend line, and it's very, very common for these to get blown right through, just so it can have another sell side liquidity sweep. And that doesn't necessarily, that's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as we continue this trend of setting higher lows. And I believe we're actually testing that trend line now, just this little temporary one here, or at least close to it. That's very likely. Let's go ahead and use these here. I like to use the candle bodies as much as possible whenever it makes sense, because it does shows where you have the sell side liquidity getting taken, and to what level. So I know that if it closes on this trend line, if the candle body closes back above this trend line, I know that it's a good indication that it's probably going to get a push back up, or at least it's going to hold some sort of support. And then if it closes below this, or more importantly, takes out like the swing low here, or even worse, this swing low here, then it's pretty clear that it's going to get continuation to the downside. But there is all of that to say that there is quite a bit of support here in this range. I have the candle body support here, I have the wick support, and I also have the overall trend support for the entire pattern. as best as possible in that range. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of support there. There's a few other ways that we can try to find support here too. I can start trying to find or start running Fibonacci's on it using these swing lows, and I'm betting that that's probably a really good idea right now. Okay, so initially when we set this swing low, we came up and hit this swing high. So if I draw from the first anchor point here, second anchor point here, I can see that the golden pocket held. Very, very important. So now I will move this to here, and I will, well, I mean, that's the same termination point. And I can see that on the retest, we held support there. See that? We barely wicked into the golden pocket. I think that's probably what is starting to cause that there. And I can keep doing this over and over again. You know, I can use the Fibonacci, the inverse Fibonacci, to chart support and resistance as long as I have a decent swing high and a decent swing low. Right now, we are interacting with a much smaller time frame golden pocket using this swing low at the bottom of the pattern to the swing high that we just set at about 9:50 this morning, so about 45 minutes ago or so. So now we are starting to fall out of that, which is actually okay. So that's the inverse Fibonacci. Very handy to try to find support. So now I'll do from here to here, and that is actually very good. I can see that if I draw from this previous swing high down to this previous swing low, most recent swing high and swing low, that on this pullback here, we are getting supported on that 0.618 Fibonacci zone to the upside. So that actually is pretty normal. But I am expecting a pretty powerful move here from XRP. And my gut is telling me that it's going to go to the upside. And the reason for that, most importantly, number one, it's putting in the structure I want to see for continuation. It's definitely starting to do that on a smaller time frame. The larger time frame is also starting to show something very similar. But as of right now, I can see that the last two large volume moves, the last two very energetic moves were to the downside, and it's putting in higher lows. So another way of saying that is anybody that went long, let's say back here, that's a perfect example. Anybody who went long here after that really big dump, I believe that was yesterday, all of them would have put their stop losses down in this range. Okay, all of them would have put their stop losses below this trend line. So after we rolled over here, you can see that we swept any potential stop losses that were there. So there was a lot of liquidity getting taken to the downside, and that was the last significant moves that we really had. Also, I'd like to point out the order block that is being that held support during the pullback, during this big pullback here. This big pullback right here. We interacted right here with an area. That's where we ended up holding support, is right here on this order block, which makes a lot of sense because the last time when we formed that original order block, I mean, that sent the price from 71 up to 79. I mean, and I know that compared to the big move that we had the other day, that's not that huge, but let's just put this in perspective. That's almost a 10% move intraday in just a few hours. Okay, so I mean, yeah, just a few hours. So I mean, that's the type of move that for the last couple of years, honestly, for XRP has taken days or weeks to happen. That should give you an idea of the power of, an idea of how much volume has come into this market recently. I mean, it's honestly, it's astounding. Okay, so I want to zoom back in on this. I really want to start managing this trade a little bit better. Stop rambling so much about, TA and stuff. I kind of just want to manage this trade live for you guys. I'm gonna remain live until the trade is over, depending on what happens with the market. Hopefully, I can just stay in the trade forever and it'll go to $1. That would be amazing. I actually think $1 is on the table in the immediate future. I'm not saying today. I mean, although it is possible, I think that's a little moon boyish. I don't really want to do that. But I do think that it is very likely that we could get a powerful move. I do believe that $1 is on the table, possibly this week. Real quick, I do want to zoom out and show you guys one more thing. Over and over again, we have tested this trend line here, and we have swept the liquidity over and over and over again. Okay, so I think that's really, really important. I'm sorry, that's drawn in the wrong place. That's much more appropriate. I need to fix that real quick. Sorry, guys. Doing live streams. No script. All right, so if I draw from there, then that means we've actually technically already gotten a breakout, but that's trash. That's not a good way to draw that at all. I mean, clearly there's some interaction here. This is the ultimate resistance to the top, but I do want to try my best to keep this on the candle bodies. I think that that is much more appropriate. You also get better interactions that way. More consistent touch points. There we go. That's a good one. So if I draw from here, I can see some buy side liquidity getting taken here. I can see a nice rejection here where it failed to even break the trend line. And I see a lot of significant price interaction to the top of the trend line when we tried to push here. And then as soon as we fell below it, we crashed. So I think that that's probably the best place to go ahead and put that. So the initial breakout here, I'm actually a little bit early. So we're still intra pattern here. Go ahead and pull this over. And this is the hourly chart. So a lot of traders don't like to do it. I know it's kind of frowned on, but I like to use RSI. I don't base my trades on RSI solely, of course, and you should never base your an entry or exit or a bias solely on any one indicator. In my opinion, I think that they need to be used in conjunction with price action analysis. I think anything other than that is setting you up for failure. Because remember, all indicators are lagging. So it makes sense to be able to interpret the price action first and then use, try to form a bias using the price action predominantly, okay, using key areas. Then try to reinforce that bias by what you see on your indicators. I think that's a healthy way of using indicators, by the way. I have no affiliation with Celsius. I just like them. Okay. Okay, so while that consolidates and decides my fate, which actually does look kind of nice there, this pattern is nearly done. Now, a couple of things can happen here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. We'll talk targets here in a second, especially for this trade. Go ahead and get rid of this too. Okay, I'm going to keep the market structure shift there, though. A couple of options, a couple of scenarios are possible here with this pattern. Okay, now, if I get the breakout to the upside, and let's say I take out all of these previous swing highs, particularly this one at 88 cents, and some of these more historical resistances from months past, and of course the new annual swing high that we set at 96.70, a dollar is going to be right on the table. Okay, that's the reason that I think a dollar is possible. Now, if I were to draw the Fibonacci from the swing high here down to the swing market low, then we actually are not even on approach yet to the golden pocket. But if we do break to the upside, I'm going to be looking for resistance at 80, basically 82, right at the bottom of the golden pocket, 81.76 actually. This whole zone is going to be pretty rough. So I highly recommend that if you want to go long on XRP, or if you want to take any kind of trade, long or short, I highly recommend that you do not do it in the golden pocket. It's going to be very choppy. It's going to be very, very unpredictable, very difficult to call. And it's a good way to get wrecked. But if we break it, and let's say we break this golden pocket up here at about 85, okay? Let's say we take out the swing market high, the annual high that we just set. We have a pretty large zone up here that needs to be, that I'll go over here in a second. But the 1618, the first Fibonacci extension level, is going to be here at $1.15. The second of which being all the way up at $1.44. Now, after the move we just had, and actually this is a pretty significant consolidation that we've had since then, it is very possible that we come up and at a minimum test this here at $1.15, the 1618 Fibonacci extension zone. There is a very, very large, I believe it's an imbalance up here. And let me go ahead and go back in time a little bit because I actually want to see that. I want to make sure that that's what that is. Because if that is a huge fair value gap of some sort, which it's not, okay. So I have it marked as a zone. Here's all of the red lines that I showed you a moment ago. These are areas that it has been rejected on in the past, all the way back in 2021, actually. So these are, these are pretty old. This area right here is nothing short of a nightmare. There is all kinds of resistance here, and it's a massive zone too. I mean, you're talking about a range. Yeah, that's about a 20-cent range. So, I mean, for XRP, that's huge. I mean, that's a monster range that it's going to have to compete with. And it's been rejected there so many times and so violently. So when the price does return back to this area at about, the bottom of that is $1.13, which is, I mean, the Fibonacci extension, the 1618 is here at $1.15. So it's right at the bottom of this. Be careful in that zone as well. I mean, in my opinion, that is kind of the fulcrum point. That is the basement floor, or excuse me, that is the doorway. If XRP is able to get back above this zone, then there's not really much there until you get up here to like $1.60, $1.70, right around there. Then you start competing with at least on MEXC, what they're showing as the all-time highs. I mean, I'm pretty sure that XRP has a current all-time high, I want to say, of like $3.30. Which I actually, in the interest of transparency, I actually haven't followed XRP very much. I actually had a zero allocation right up until I heard the news from the SEC. I personally have my doubts, my suspicions about XRP, and really that's only stemming from the Genesis block. And for those of you that don't know, XRP is missing its Genesis block, which is the most important block of any blockchain. It tells you all of the origin information for the entire protocol. And since XRP was pre-mined, and they're not going to make any more, which is fine. The problem with that is the only proof that is irrefutable and cannot be questioned at all was in that Genesis block, and also the first, I think it's 56,000 blocks, which is essentially a week worth of transactions. is missing from the XRP blockchain. So I'm not saying, just for everyone out there, I'm not saying that I'm accusing Ripple Labs of anything nefarious. I'm not. But what I am saying is that the possibility is there that there is more XRP in circulation than just the 100 billion that the current blockchain shows. And I think that that's very unfortunate. I think it's a little suspicious, in my opinion. But I mean, I'm not going to go as far as to say that it's going to, that they have done something nefarious here. But it's strange. If you launch a crypto and, you intend it to be, used for institutions, you would think that if you experienced a bug issue in your first week of launch, that you would cancel that blockchain, you would stop it, and you would launch a new one. You would think, once you fix the problem. And the fact that they did not is kind of concerning to me. Because, I mean, they know what they're doing. They definitely do. I mean, Ripple Labs has some of the best developers on the planet working on that protocol, and working for Ripple Labs. I mean, I'm sure that they're probably going to end up going public and, have their finger in all kinds of pies, is my guess. But I don't know. I think that's a little irresponsible. And that's kind of my small disclaimer on XRP, as far as like long-term longevity. But I'll trade it, and I'll definitely, I look for value wherever value can be found, whether I believe in a protocol or not. And since I don't plan on being a long-term hodler of XRP, at least in the immediate short term, it's perfect for me to trade. It's cheap. I have a ton of volume, more, in many cases, on some exchanges, particularly in this last week, XRP is challenging the volume of Bitcoin. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolutely insane what's been happening. I mean, I can't believe that we had an $800 million 1 hour candle. It's unreal. And that's just on MEXC. I mean, I'm not even sure what Binance's is. You know what? Never mind. It was nothing because XRP was not listed on Binance. That's going to be a big catalyst too, though, is the relisting of XRP on every exchange. I think that's going to be pretty important too. I mean, certainly bullish, no doubt about it. Will it be a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing? I mean, who can know? Let me go ahead and actually pull the live stream down here. I just want the chat box open in case any of you guys want to take a look. There we go. Let's go ahead and blast this out, actually. Just posting that to Facebook real quick. I'm going to send it over to the Cool Nerd community over at Cool Nerd Crypto at Facebook. Send that over to them, and because I know a lot of the Cool Nerd community, which is an outstanding community. If you guys get an opportunity, I highly recommend that you add that group. It is rapidly growing. Currently at about 6,000 members. That's where the majority of my content has been for the last few years. Before starting Market Menace trading, I still post to the group regularly. I'm one of the moderators there, but it's run by an outstanding individual. Goes by Mansa Musa. incredibly intelligent man, and a really passionate evangelist for the crypto space. And it's a great, I mean, if nothing else, he is outstanding at finding little gems. So if you're the kind of trader that, likes to hear the up and coming cryptos, one of his favorite things to do is to find those little gems, break them down. You make sure that he gives you guys the tutorials on how to, use the wallets, how to buy them. Absolute expert. They really, really admire Mansa. He's done a lot of great work. All right. Go ahead and put I'll tag at Big Dog Crypto as well. It's another group that I do some moderation for. I don't know why that didn't work. There we go. All right, there we go. So I went ahead and blasted that out. Awesome. Okay, stream looks like it's going very well. Good, good, good. Okay. All right, so it looks like we're continuing the consolidation here, at least on the hourly. We have not gotten the powerful breakout just yet, but I do suspect that this pattern is pretty much done. Targets. I promised you guys targets. So just using this here, just using the Fibonacci, ignoring all of the previous resistance here, I just want to go over the Fibonacci zones first, also ignoring the huge order block, which is up here, the absolute minefield. Initially, I like this here, the $1.15. That is the 1618, the first Fibonacci extension zone. That's the area I'm looking for there will be some sort of price hesitation there. There will be some sort of a significant reaction in that area. I have no doubt. So the 1618 at $1.15. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, we break $1, man. Like that's gonna. We thought 800 million in an hour was big. I mean, you wait until we break $1. There's gonna be so much volume. I bet it's double that. I bet we do 1.3, 1.4 billion in an hour after we break $1. That's my guess. After that, we have the $1.45. I believe we had a swing market high. Yeah, at about $1.40 right there. About a year or 2 years ago. So I think that there is definitely going to be some, I mean, there is without question going to be a ton of resistance there. Even if we didn't have the previous high, the $1.50 psychological area is there. And that is extremely significant. So, I mean, that anytime you're dealing with assets that are in these price ranges, when they explode up and you start interacting with, 10-cent intervals and 25 or 50-cent or even $1 intervals. Those are going to be extremely important, and you can guarantee that there's going to be a ton of buy and sell orders waiting right there. Okay. The top of the Fibonacci is here, the 4.236. That's what I have it set to. And that is just shy of $2, right at about $1.93. We have historical resistance on MEXC, at least at $1.97. So that at least covers the Fibonacci side of this. Now, we are a long way from any of that. Okay. But I do think that it is reasonable. I think that a decent target in the event that we can get over the golden pocket and all this, and assuming that we break $1. Basically, if we end up having a nice market structure shift here, or excuse me, a bullish break of structure here at the annual high that we just set at 96, I'm going to be looking for a reattack of the $1.15. Obviously, $1 is going to hesitate. Be careful in that range. So what I should say is, in the event that we are able to get the bullish break of structure, this is more likely what's going to happen. If we are able to somehow get this bullish break of structure at the 96.70 area, basically 97 cents, all right? I think that we are going to come up to the dollar range right around there, and probably we are going to have a pullback, something like this, some sort of a dance around, maybe coming down here. That makes sense. We may even come all the way back down to the golden pocket before we get any kind of continuation. But if we are able to break that dollar range, and it's a very energetic move, it is extremely likely, in my opinion, that we are going to get a move that just rips straight to the 1618. That's what I think would happen. But it would have to be a pretty powerful move. I mean, I would be shocked if we just instantly took out the golden pocket. I mean, that would be insane. If that happens, I mean, that's the most difficult area on the entire chart, or on this pattern right now. So if we were able to blast through that and get supported, I would expect some consolidation in the 786. But, if we're able to break $1, we are absolutely going to go and at a minimum test the bottom of that minefield at $1.12. And then if we're able to just peek through that and pierce that, we're probably going to get a test of the 1618. But again, that all is dependent on whether or not we have a energetic move leading up to it. So, I mean, there's a lot to consider, a lot of unknowns that are only going to be able to be interpreted as they happen, of course. So, so here's the hourly chart. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it really does. In my opinion, this looks good. The pullback here is at the same level that we've been at for every other kind of pump during this. We're not quite all the way at the bottom of the RSI and the hourly, which we were back here prior to the rally, but we are at the same point. We're actually a little bit lower on the RSI than we were during the initial rally. So I think that is kind of important. I think it's something that we should take a look at, pay attention to, because anytime the RSI returns to previous ranges where that correspond to swing lows on the chart, you could very well start to see some decent structure get put back in. I mean, we know that XRP has the ability now to come up into the overbought territory. I mean, it got pegged out at about 99.64. That is the highest I have ever seen it. I think that's the highest it's ever been. And it was there for a few hours. So there's definitely a lot of room to run here. I mean, that's the power of an energetic market, man. Like, there's so much buzz behind XRP right now. It's by far the hottest thing in crypto. So yeah, I mean, and also I'd like to point something out. It doesn't really seem to be holding a strong correlation to Bitcoin, which I actually think is kind of refreshing. I love Bitcoin. And to a certain extent, I'm even kind of a Bitcoin maximalist. But I tell you what, it is nice to trade something that has a lot of volume that is not taking its price cues directly from the Bitcoin chart, because it kind of allows me to just interpret one chart as opposed to having to watch the price of Bitcoin, because it's such a powerful market mover. As Bitcoin moves, it moves almost everything else. Same with Ethereum, particularly with assets that are on Ethereum's blockchain, ERC20 tokens. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice. I've really enjoyed trading XRP for the last few days. I mean, I've had a really, really good week. Actually, I've had one of the best weeks ever trading XRP. I mean, I've had multiple trades that were over 1,000, and my losses have been, very well mitigated. I mean, it's easy to make money when things are moving. The trick is finding it when it's not choppy. It's hard to trade a choppy market. You need a much more conservative strategy. You need something that protects you. But I mean, when that thing's moving, when you can, like when Bitcoin was moving about, 4 weeks ago, I mean, that was an amazing trade. I mean, it's so easy to make money when things are actually moving like that, Man, we are right at the end of that apex. We are almost there. So let me zoom in on the 5-minute chart. It looks like we ended up getting a little bit of support, and I believe that ended up being support on that golden pocket that I showed you a minute ago. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure that's what it ended up being, though. Yes, that's exactly what it was. So we had the breakout of the golden pocket, support, swing, new swing high, and then held support perfectly yet again. On that golden pocket, we actually are set a higher low there, which is probably why we got the push here. But that's not enough. It's not enough to do that. We have to set a new high. It's not enough for the bears to fail to do their job and create lower lows. The bulls have to step in and create higher highs. So I can tell you right now that taking out this right here is going to be key. We won't even come anywhere near. There is no bullish move if we don't do that, if we don't take that out. So now it's kind of, this is an interesting aspect of trading, and something that I've started to notice is, it's very much, if you think about it like a game, whoever scored last is up. You know what I mean? So I can see that the bulls have now failed to set a higher high. So if the bears then turn around, after the bulls failed to set a higher high, I can see that the bears failed to set a lower low. So it's kind of even. But as of right now, on the re-attack, the bulls have failed to set a higher high again. So all of this to say that if the bears end up setting a lower low, then the score is going to tilt in their favor. And at which point you kind of go into a bit of a sudden death kind of thing, scenario where the bulls have one final opportunity to set a higher high and cancel out the move that the bears just had. If they fail to do so, then it's very likely that the bears will get their wish and they will start to see that trend push down. So hopefully we end up getting some good support. This candle's not quite over. This is a 5-minute candle. We're about to close. We are trading above the 9 exponential here, as well as the 20 exponential. And we're currently interacting over, holding support over the 100, and we are interacting with the 3 and the 200 exponential moving average to the upside. Those are acting as resistance. We're going to need to go ahead and break those. Bit of an indifferent candle. I'm okay with this candle as long as it holds support over the 9 exponential and preferably continues to set a higher low, we will probably get a nice reattack. Let's go to a smaller time frame here. So that's the close of the 5 minute. It's not bad. The 1 minute is also, this is the 1 minute chart. Here's the 9 EMA, and we are trying to hold support over the 20 EMA. Okay. But as I said, it's no longer enough for the bears to fail. The bulls have to step in and take out one of these swing highs. One of them. I mean, even if it's just this one initially, and then it pulls back again for another reattack, it's getting close. It's getting very close. So, bit of a sweat happening right now. I do like this though. I think that's nice. Maybe a cup and handle kind of pattern is forming here, but it'll be voided if it breaks this neckline here, the cup and handle aspect. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a dump. It just means that the cup and handle isn't going to necessarily play out the way that you wanted it to, or the way that it's supposed to. Okay, so something kind of interesting is happening here on a very, very, very small time frame. The move up right here was pretty energetic, and it caused an imbalance here. So let me go ahead and show that to you. You have a bullish fair value gap that was formed right there. Okay, so what we've done now is the price has returned to it. And as of right now, it's filled about 80% of it or so, 75% of it, which is very normal. That's actually very healthy. That's called a mitigation. You want these fair value gaps because they are voids in the market. You want them to get filled early. You want them to be filled often because that is a mark of an efficient market. When you have inefficiencies, when you have huge imbalances in the market, it acts as a magnet to price. So, and on a long enough time frame, they are all almost always closed. Markets are very cyclical in that way, very balanced in that way. They like to fill those voids. Okay, so what you're seeing here is an outstanding opportunity to potentially take a long, but there is more that you need to consider. Number one, and probably most importantly, it's not just if you can find an imbalance, it's what's below it. Where is the liquidity resting? Where are the banks likely to target? And make no mistake, they are targeting XRP. There's enough volume. It's hot. They know that they have huge asymmetric return possibilities here. There we go. That's nice. That's exactly what you want to see with a fair value gap. So the way to take that trade would have been to wait for the pullback into this zone, have your entry at about 40 to 50% of the fair value gap, and then set your stop loss below liquidity down here or down here, depending on how, the smaller you go in your trade, the larger your berth of your stop loss can be. That's assuming you're following risk management and you're a rules-based trader. Looking for the bullish break of structure here. Things could get exciting if we take that out. Oops, wrong color. And that's way too big. It's almost as if I blocked it myself. That's the area we have to take out right there, not the candle body. Okay, again, big imbalance here. Okay, and this is a 1 minute chart, so these imbalances, as they happen, they are going to have a higher likelihood of getting filled very, very quickly. Now, depending on where this candle ends up closing, it may not have an imbalance at all. We may end up coming down here and having that wick down to this area right here, this previous fair value gap, which has been mitigated, but not fully. That's why I'm leaving it there. Excuse me. and it may just go ahead and mitigate it right off the, right off the bat, not even give it a chance to actually form an imbalance. And as of right now, I would actually consider that to be mitigated. I don't really, yes, there is technically a fair value gap there, but it's such an insignificant amount. It's tiny. It's nothing. I think it's much more likely that the market will interpret this as a full mitigation, no imbalance here. Really, there aren't really any imbalances that are remaining on this chart. They've been very good about getting filled. There is this one here from 73.45 up to 73.57, which mostly got taken out during this wick here. I would say about 55%, 60% of it. And here's a revisit to that fair value gap again. As of right now, it has been a more shallow revisit to that area, which means that we could potentially be forming a nice order block here, a support order block, a demand order block. And that looks like this. I'll go ahead and get rid of this now so that I can demonstrate this. And there's no guarantee that this is going to hold, of course. And actually, I think this is the more important one here. And that looks like this. It's an area, the candle prior to an energetic move up will generally become an order block. So getting a test of the 50 exponential, we are now testing this order block. Okay, this order block has failed. That's tapped. It's gone. Now, are there any other areas that this could be drawn to? Still looking to set higher lows. Not necessarily concerned with taking this low out because it's not very significant. I am, however, concerned with taking out one of these lows. A lower price than this will break the trend and the very, very short-term trend. And we can start to push down here, at which point I would probably be stopped. My stop loss is actually pretty deep in the golden pocket, but it's not invulnerable here, especially if we break this trend down. But ultimately, the single most important low that we must maintain, at least here, is going to be down here at 71.75. And I mean, that it seems miles away, but it's not. We can get there. We can get there quickly. So I'm looking for that support to hold right there. That is the overall support for this small uptrend that we've been in, which is the reason I took the trade. So if we fail on that trend line, if we close a candle, a significant time frame candle, 15 minutes or so, 15 minutes, or even an hour. What time is it now? So we got 45 minutes left until this hour's done, which means we are about to close a 15-minute candle here in a minute. So it's 11:13 my time. Let's go ahead and see what that picture looks like. That's a good habit to get into, by the way. As you approach significant time frames of closes, you should be looking at those candles on those time frames. So if it's 11:04, then I want to look at a 5-minute candle because it's the heaviest rated candle on that time frame that is going to close. And you should be doing this, especially if you're doing a lot of day trading. If you're doing a lot of scalping, you're going to want to know, if you're doing this type of trading that I'm doing here, you're going to want to know what that picture looks like, because it very often will help you understand what's going to happen or help you anticipate and plan for possible scenarios is a better way to say that. You'll never know what's going to happen. So yeah, here on this one, I can see we're interacting strong with the 74-cent range. Very, very important. But I can also see that as of right now, we are holding support over the 9 and the 20 exponential moving average. 25 seconds is a long time. A lot can happen. We could absolutely fail there. We'd come back down to here. That's not necessarily bad 15-minute candle close, but it's not ideal. I mean, clearly there's a lot of indecision here. This candle is very indecisive. We did, however, just close a 15-minute candle above the 786. That was kind of unexpected. I didn't think that we were going to do that just now. I thought we were going to probably be lucky to close here just on the 9 and the 20 EMA. So I'm looking to set a higher low here on the 15-minute. 15-minute also set a higher low. Looking at the 5-minute, we're interacting with the 21 between the 9 and the 21 exponential. And if we can hold, if this ends up being the swing low, which is actually right where we had the bounce for the 15-minute candle a moment ago. That was the low of the 15-minute candle there. If we can hold that, I think that we have a good chance to come up and have finally a bullish break of structure on a more significant time frame. Let's look at the 1 minute, see what that is looking like. It's not bad. I mean, you have a bit of a double top here. Of course, you're going to get a push down. So, I mean, I'm telling you right now that we need to break this. And that needs to happen right now. Like within the next 2 minutes. Before we come back down to these levels, we have to get a bullish break of structure. Another way of saying that is we have to take out this swing high, or I guarantee you, I just spit at myself, it's gross. Didn't have to share that. I guarantee you, if we do not set a new high and have a significant bullish break of structure, we are absolutely going to be testing this trend line and more than likely coming down to the golden pocket. Very likely going to be testing the market structure shift at 73.74. Excuse me. Okay. Again, a bit of an indecisive candle, but not bad. I actually like to see these types of candles as long as the following candle holds support with a nice bottom wick. So I'm looking to take this swing high out. If we do, looking for that. And then I want to challenge that. Might take a few minutes to do, but the most important thing is that we get a nice move up. I kind of want it to continue to do these little choppy candles until it gets to about here. And then I want it to have one powerful move to break that. Because I can see that every time that I've tried, or on the last attempt, we had a really powerful candle and it stopped before we got a chance to get there. So I want it to, gently walk up here, and then I want it to push hard. Because it would be nice to not just take this out in that moment. It would be nice to take this out. And I believe that is that's the point. That's the one here. This is the initial anchor point. Okay, I actually want to move this a little bit. Excuse me. And I want to see if we're interacting with a smaller time frame golden pocket. We are. Okay. Telling you that golden pocket is very, very important. Okay, we got to set a higher low here. Or I promise you, if we take this out, we're going to probably break this trend line here. And we are going to come down and test the market structure shift here, which puts me right in the firing range for sure. Now, I do have order blocks down here that could potentially provide me with support. I don't think this will provide any support at all right here. Yep, we just broke that. So now I'm looking for support to be formed here on this much smaller order block. Holy cow. Okay, looking for that to be supported. I'll even settle for an equal low as long as the bears are not able to set a significantly lower low. I think that's very important. I would really love to see a sell side liquidity sweep here. Doesn't look like I'm going to get it on the 1 minute time of it. So that was the close of a 5 minute. Let's go ahead and look at that. Yes, that was a close of a 5 minute. It's a gross 5 minute candle. Actually, it's not the kind you want to see. Hopefully we will instantly re-enter that pattern and we can just consider it a multi-candle sell-side liquidity sweep, maybe on the 3 minute. On the 3 minute, that would be okay. That's actually very normal to test that trend line, take out the stop losses. But we have to re-enter on the 3 minute in order for that to, be very, very obvious. That's what we've seen here with this candle. It's what we saw here. Powerful move, but they ended up finishing green. I don't even care if this candle finishes green, but I do want it back inside that pattern. Otherwise, we are definitely going to come and challenge this tiny little order block, which really doesn't hold a lot of weight, to be perfectly honest with you. This one, on the other hand, does lend a little more credit to it. It is a larger order block. And it is right where it was, or where it's currently interacting with, I should say. So I'll go ahead and mark that. Do that in blue so you guys can really see it. Okay. No point in me having this Fibonacci here as of right now. We have to wait and see what happens. I'm looking for this order block here to hold. That would be nice. Otherwise, I do kind of have this here, but it's not, I wouldn't say that it's particularly strong. The real strength is going to be here and here. This is a huge order block down here. I would actually say this would be the more appropriate one there. Don't want to set a lower low, though. Equal low I'd be fine with. Okay, that's a lower low than that. So now I'm looking to hold that. I'm going to get stopped here. Be about a $50 L. And I'm actually okay with it. I'm not willing to adjust my stop loss below this. This order block here has been smoked. Maybe I will just put it just below the trend line here. Just right here. And see what happens. Maybe I'll give this order block a chance to do some work for me. Do that there. It's not that much more. Kind of a game time audible. I like it when the order blocks are wick only, because it really, really demonstrates, it gives me a very clear zone where I know that, it was like the lowest it got. I really, really like using the wick only order blocks. I use them whenever I can. Just something about them feels more reliable. Now, I will say this as well. So I'm relying on this order block here and the trend line to keep me safe. However, that trend line has not shown a lot of support. Or I'm sorry, that trend line has allowed big pushes down, which I think we're probably going to have to do. Now here on the 3 minute, I can see the last time we came down here, we had to come all the way down to about the 33 point, basically 34 on the RSI, in order to get the rebound. So we're actually not there yet. So that tells me that we're probably going to have a pretty strong push down until this is considered oversold at that same level, at about 33, 34. We are not there yet. And the fact that we just set a lower low, this order block is smoked. That's gone. There is an imbalance here, but it's small. What are we down? 43? 38 or so? So let me just double check what that's going to be. 30 or 73.49. So that'd be 87. That's okay. That's within my price tolerance, or my risk tolerance. It's actually well within my risk tolerance. That's not showing a lot of strength. The bulls are not really stepping in here, or at least they haven't yet. I do expect, though, that we will get a reattack of the trend line before we get a significant push down. I imagine that we would do something like that. I am disappointed that we did not get an immediate reattack on that. That's actually not boding well for my trade. On the 1 minute, there actually is no imbalance. Well, technically there was. It was here, but we just filled that, so that's over. Don't want to see wicks like that. Definitely not. All right, I am considering... I really do think that we're going to get a strong wick. But there's not really... Wow, there is a chance that we come down to fill that, actually. This fair value gap. I can't believe that that is now relevant. I mentioned this to you guys in the beginning of the video, or the beginning of the live, is that there was a big... Well, not a big, but there was an imbalance here that had not been corrected. I'm not willing to bring my stop loss down that low because it is possible that the imbalance will pull the price down there and it'll just continue down. So I'm not really willing to go beyond that. I will give this order block a chance to protect me, but not much more than probably like here at the bottom of this. Oh, there is also an imbalance here that never got filled. Let me go ahead and put that out first, actually. Even though the order block is still there and it's still valid. But this imbalance here was never corrected, and I think that we're about to test it. It was almost corrected. It was almost mitigated. It came down to about 60%. But clearly that wasn't enough. There's a equal low. I do not have high hopes that the bulls are going to step in here. I don't. I think that they are going to allow it to get pushed down back into this fair value gap. I kind of want to see the fair value gap get filled fully. Oh, wait. No, I do not want that because I want this trend line right here to hold. We are definitely going to get a sell-side liquidity sweep for sure. And I'm very zoomed in, so it's going to seem violent. Yes. This right here is this. So I believe that this point right here, this little wick here with the reattack and the pullback, I think that little wick right there is this point. I think we've had the reattack, the failure, and then I think we're going to get a much, much lower low than this. I think it will probably come down to... It will probably fill this whole gap. It will probably stop me, to be honest. My stop is here at 73.43. I don't really have a lot of protection there, but I am not willing to take any more of a loss. I would rather just take the loss here and try to re-enter. But hopefully this trend line just completely holds. No sell-side liquidity. Because this trend line here was just a temporary trend line that I was using based on the swing lows here. But again, I'm not a pattern trader anymore. I am a smart money concept trader. I prefer to use these smart money concepts in order to... Sorry, one second. I prefer to use the smart money concepts in order to do my entry and exits. And I also use some pattern, support and resistance and stuff, but primarily I'm using the smart money concepts in order to do my trades. It would be nice to hold support here and get a reattack of that trend line. And it is actually kind of possible because we do have this trend line here. At least I know that it was drawn properly because of I mean, I didn't adjust this trend line at all the entire live. So I can see that at least somebody in the world agrees with me that this is the trend line for the overall pattern, which is good. Now, whether or not it's going to respect it is a completely different story, but at least I know that it's drawn correctly. My guess is that if we fall below this, we are going to get that, a very similar move to what we saw here. That's my guess. Pretty significant pullback. So that one was, and more than likely it will stop me out if that happens. So pullback of 0.27%. So let's see what that would be up here. There's the break. 0.27% is right there, just below my stop loss. That's it. That's all I'm doing. 74. Not willing to go beyond that anymore. The only reason I did that is because the last pullback was 0.27% and my stop loss was sitting at 0.24%. So, I'm not doing that. That's not a sell side liquidity sweep yet. That's not enough. Got to get below the swing low here for it to be a sell side liquidity sweep before it will trigger. I mean, honestly, this zone is where it's going to target straight up. I mean, I'm giving real thought to just dropping the trade right now. But I'm kind of stubborn, and I'm also a little curious. That is a lower low. This fair value gap is mitigated completely. We are going to stop me out. I have no doubt. That's a lower low. It is not a lower low than here. That doesn't mean that the uptrend is over. It just means as of right now, the bears are in control on this trend right here. Looking for some sort of support, though. Looking for something. I mean, honestly, though, there is this imbalance. Part of me just wants it to, take me out, fill the imbalance, and then get the move up. Because I would actually rather enter on something like this. A very obvious retest. Let's see, maybe this, actually. There is alternative forms of support here as well. And maybe I'm getting interaction there. Maybe a little help. Oh, man, I'm right. Oh, it's so close. That's not enough. Yeah, I'm right in the danger area for this, so I'm not adjusting any more than that, though. That's enough. Am I getting a little magic on these here? That's possible. Go by the candle body. That's possible. If that's the case, then that would actually be very helpful. That's exactly what's happening. Okay. I mean, I still think I get swept. Maybe not. Maybe if we can get back above this. Okay, that has re-entered the overall support of the pattern. Is it possible to get a market structure shift? Change of character? Change of character, rather. There's a change of character. Okay. Can I get support over it? And actually, that's above the change of character for the whole pattern. Okay. Push. Yeah, I like not losing. That's fun. Definitely don't want to see a huge top wick on this. Tell you that. I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, though, I wouldn't mind if it just kind of chopped around a little bit. That is definitely a lower low than here, but barely. But it did pierce it. So, I mean, as of right now, the bears are up on this trend anyways. I will say that this right here is the first time that we have taken out a previous swing high during this little downtrend. So that is the first time that's happened. On a smaller time frame, this is a good opportunity to show you guys a key point of smart money concepts. Clear downtrend, right? Bang, bang, right? Boom. Actually, try that again. There to there. Another downtrend. There we go. Okay. Then we get the market structure shift here. I drew that so terribly. Whatever. This was a previous swing high here. We went ahead and had the market structure shift on the smaller time frame. So now I'm looking to get supported on that and get a bullish break of structure of this. And if that happens, it's likely that this little short-term downtrend is over. And as I look at the 1 minute, I can see that we have actually technically hit the oversold territory for a moment, which is also where we ended up getting all of the previous bounces. Once they hit there, that's actually a bit of divergence there. On the 1 minute, it bottomed here at 28, and then it actually set a higher low on the RSI at the same time that it set a lower low on the spot price. It's futures, that's why the air quotes. But that one's actually a little more violent, a little more clear. Okay, well, I guess we'll see. That's a bullish break of structure. That's nice. Looking to go ahead and take this one out. Got a nice cluster of moving averages here. That's actually pretty rough when you end up having a cluster of moving averages like that. It makes that area, very difficult to break. But I will say this. It sometimes works in your favor because a very powerful move, just one quick move, will break all of those moving averages. And very often when that happens, they become support very quickly. So I actually kind of prefer it when they're like racked and stacked very, very tight in there, because it only takes really one energetic move to punch right through it. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen here. Okay, here's the pullback. Looking for support. I actually have a new bullish break of structure that needs to happen here. Looking for support, preferably on that. I don't want to close a candle below it. A quick wick like that is actually fine as long as it has a nice bottom wick on it. There is an imbalance here. So I'd be looking for a correction probably down to the trend line here. Hopefully getting supported there, closing the majority of this, if not all of it, down here, maybe even a quick little wick here. But ultimately, I want to see this little imbalance get closed and then get the continuation. It's pretty normal. I'm going to go ahead and take the headphones off, actually. I don't really need them. Throw them back on later. Okay, so we are pretty deep into that imbalance. Looking for support on this trend line. Okay, that imbalance has been completely mitigated, 100% closed. Now we need to set a higher low. That's what needs to happen. It would be nice to have a nice bullish engulfing candle. Go ahead and take out that right there. That would be nice. Because that would also get us up above, back up above those moving averages, the 9 and the 20. Would allow us to reattack all of these up here as well. Interesting trade. Definitely an interesting trade. Okay, that's a good candle. That's a good 1 minute candle. Now we need to set a higher low, preferably holding support on this or higher. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build an order block here. That's what's trying to happen. Just a very quick order block. Of course, it doesn't have any strength yet, but if it holds, it could end up being a very important area later. Trying to get supported on it. I'm actually okay with this candle as long as it doesn't set a lower low, and that's actually okay. It's about a 50-50 candle. Kind of indecisive, but certainly on the last, let's call it the last 30 seconds of that candle, you can clearly see that there is some sort of buying pressure there at the top of a previous order block. So I think that's pretty important. It sets the stage for a move back up. But, I mean, you can't just have a bunch of red candles. You have to get a nice green one here. Got to get a nice bullish candle that engulfs that. Excuse me. Okay. Looking for the push here. If we take out this little swing high here, just the top of this candle, if we can take that out, we are more than likely going to come and try and break this bullish break of structure here. Perform a bullish break of structure. Okay. Progressively improving. Okay, we are challenging the swing high here. There's the bullish break of structure. So now, I mean, honestly, that one really doesn't matter. We need, it's not enough to pierce it. We need to get separation. But being that we have just pierced it, if this candle can close green, we are probably on the next candle or the one after going to try to challenge that right there. Hopefully, I mean, that could very well happen on this candle. I wouldn't be surprised. It would be nice to close this candle with no top wick of any kind. That's ideal. 6 seconds. Let's see what happens. Top wick or no? No top wick. Beautiful. Cool. Now go ahead and show support on the 21 exponential and the 9, and then come up and challenge this and give me a nice bullish break of structure. Thank you. I'm still not willing just yet to adjust my stop loss up because this order block has not been retested since forming. So, I mean, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth anything yet. Not until it gets retested. However, if I do get this price back up to my entry here, at that point I will start to mitigate my loss a little bit and I will bring it up underneath this. We should be getting a retest of this here. The 50 exponential might be a pain in the ass here, or a pain in the butt, excuse me. But I guess we'll see. Looking for support on these two moving averages to get the continuation up. As I said, it's not enough for XRP for the bears to not do their job. The bulls have to step in and they have to start putting in higher highs as well. Honestly, on every time frame as well. Okay, looks like we're trying to retest the overall patterns market structure shift. Which actually is not bad. Have we closed a 15-minute candle underneath that? We did, but only for a little bit. It's not bad. All things considered, that pullback wasn't bad at all. If this truly ends up being the new swing low, then that's actually really, really good. I'm actually considering adding to this position because it would give me a better entry. But it's already a pretty significant position. I mean, this is a 20x levered long on $675, so... I mean, this is a $13,500 position in XRP. I think that's enough. I'll certainly make some money if this thing breaks out, for sure. Okay, so that was a 15-minute close. It was positive. We are below all of the significant moving averages from the 15-minute time frame right now, are all the ones that you generally are looking for bullish continuation. We're below the 9, the 21, the 50, and the 100. However, we did just get supported basically on the 200, which I think is kind of important. And the 300 is way down here. So if we hit that, I mean, that's a bad day. Looking for that bullish break of structure on the 1 minute. I think we're about to get it. Certainly challenging it. Okay. The market structure shift has held support so far, but that needs to get broken. It's not enough to just come up and wick at it. 1, maybe 2 more minutes worth of attacks on there at best before you get another rejection. Challenging the candle body close here and here. Okay, this should be the reattack, hopefully the break. Push, push, push. Like I said, those moving averages are all racked and stacked. I think that will work to our benefit. If we do break through here, I think we're probably going to come straight to here at about 74.11. Do not want to see a double top here like that. I do not want to see that. Give me an indecisive candle. That would be fine. I would be okay with that. Okay, sure. Because at least it got some sort of buying pressure over the moving averages, and maybe it'll give us the opportunity to attack one more time. But if we come up here and fail again, we are definitely going to come down here. At least we're going to test this. More than likely, we're going to test this. Okay, first 30 seconds was down. We have touched these moving averages. What will the next 22 seconds bring us? As long as you set a higher low, I'm okay. Hold that market structure shift, please. There's the retest of the market structure shift. That's probably not going to hold. We're probably going to come down to this order block to test it one more time, which, isn't the end of the world. I did say that I wanted the opportunity to trust this again, so this is my chance. But I would much rather just have a higher low than this, and this especially. But we are almost assuredly going to touch this. Okay, there's the equal low, the lower low. Here's the touch. No? It would actually be pretty nice to not have it enter this order block, but I seriously doubt it. There's the touch, there's the entry, there's the lower low than that, but that is a touch of the primary trend line. I would like for that to hold. Please do not close the entire order block. If it does, the order block is void, and I then have to rely on this order block down here, which I may as well just go ahead and paint now, because there is a high likelihood that this order block does not hold. This candle here definitely closed this imbalance, so that's no longer active. That's no longer valid. That's been tapped out. Would really like to see that right there. Let's look at the RSI. Okay. No real bad divergence there. Let's look at a longer time frame and see what that looks like. Okay. I had to swing low here. Definitely had divergence here. That caused the uptrend. That's good. Okay, higher low, higher low. Pretty much an equal high. Also an equal high. Actually a little bit higher. So when I had an equal high here, relative to there, I was actually putting in a higher high on the RSI. And the same was true here. No, it wasn't. That's lower. Okay. No real help on the RSI, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, looking to maintain this order block. Got to get back outside of it. Okay, good start. Very, very small imbalance right here, but who cares? That's nothing. The much more important thing here is that, yes, the bulls have failed to set a higher high here, but the bears have so far drastically failed to set a lower low. So I would think that if we are able to hold this and get back up to these ranges, if we are able to challenge this again, I do believe it will break. That's my guess. Well, this order block so far has held nicely. We are challenging that market structure shift. Just looking for the push up. It's a decent candle, even though it's got a nasty wick on top. At least it's a higher high than this anyways. Certainly not that. Came right up to the bottom of that insignificant imbalance that I just mentioned a moment ago. Okay. I really am hoping that we get a market structure, or excuse me, a bullish break of structure here, because when we do, if we do, I am going to be adjusting my stop loss. Nine seconds left to do it. Otherwise, that's a bit of a triple top there on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, there's a bullish break of structure. We pierced it. Give me some continuation. It's a good candle for it. There's some volatility too. When you see the wicks just kind of appear like that, even though you don't see the line on the chart move, it means that it's like the volatility is increasing. Surprised that that's instantly pulling back like that after giving us the bullish break of structure there. Glad I didn't move it yet. That order block is doing a good job so far. As the minutes tick on, that I'm getting more and more confident in its ability to hold the price. Particularly because this has been mitigated. Notice how when that happened, we haven't set a lower low yet. That's a nice candle. It instantly becomes a not nice candle when I say that. I would love to see this candle have a huge bottom wick that shows a lot of buying pressure, particularly if it can get above these moving averages. But I'll take the higher low. That's fine. I think they're starting to sense that it's going to hold. I think the bulls are starting to sense that this area is going to hold. And they may be starting to step in here. It doesn't mean to say that we aren't still at risk to get like a quick wick down, which can, that can happen at any time. But as of right now, that is not what's happening. I do think we have broken this little downtrend here for sure. This is the one that really matters to me right now. Getting back above 74.35. That's the one that I want to see. I am not willing to move my stop loss back up to here until I see at least this get taken out. This bullish break of structure. I'm not willing to do it yet. I have to see that. I feel like it's close. I feel like it should happen. I mean, we've held pretty good support. Consistently higher lows since setting this high. I do think that we should probably get a reattack here. I think it should. I think it's going to break. I do. As long as we can. I mean, as long as we can get up to test it, I think it's going to break all those moving averages. Actually, clearly the 50 is being a pain in the butt. Guess we'll see what happens. I had a small bullish break of structure here, but I don't really care about that. I care about this one. Okay, looks like we are going to try to get a reattack of that. Hopefully it happens on this candle here. But even if it doesn't, I just want to see this candle close with no top wick. Even if it doesn't take this out, or this obviously, I just want to see no selling pressure on the top of this candle. Okay, there's a test of the 100. We should probably break that now, or at least test it. I don't think that we're going to just stop here without getting at least a quick wick up here. It's not bad. It's not a bad candle. There's energy there. We set a higher low than the previous attack. There's the test. There's the pierce. There's the break. Go ahead and break that. Get back to my entry. And then I will absolutely. I want that candle to close above that. I don't want a top wick here. They better follow through. That is a higher high. The bulls know it. Now come take this out right there. That's what I want. Go take that out right there. That's a nice bullish break of structure. Really nice. We need to get above these moving averages, though. Like I said, one big move gets it knocked out. What's the 3-minute looking like? Is that all one candle? I bet it is. No, it's not. Okay, back to my entry. Okay, I will adjust stop loss at this point, and I will use my sort of trustworthy order block. I guess I'll put it here below that last swing low there. Ideally, I'd like to put it here, but I really, I won't move that up again until I get continuation to the upside. Now I want to see support here. Let me start drawing the little makeshift support here, so I can try to anticipate where that's going to come back down to in the event that it pushes. Let me put this here, actually. Use the candle bodies. Okay. I'm in danger. There is an imbalance here. Well, there was an imbalance here. It's been corrected. They're not doing a good job of holding the support over the previous bullish break of structure. So I will hide this a little lower. Back below this little swing low here. That's the best I'm willing to do until I get reversal to the upside. Putting a nice bottom wick on that would look really good on the chart. Now I'm looking to take that out. That's my new bullish break of structure, which is pretty much right at my entry. It's a good candle, actually. It mitigates all these fair value gaps here. shows support over the 9, the 20, and the 50. So now we get the fun task of re-breaking the 3 heavier weighted moving averages. Let's look at the 5-minute. How's that looking? Okay, it's not bad. There is a fair value gap here, an implied fair value gap. It's not actually there yet, not until this candle closes. Hopefully it will just mitigate it right now. Just go right here, close it, and then push up. That would be nice. Where's the 15-minute at? Okay, we are not above any of the 15-minute charts. What about the hourly? Getting any support there? I bet it's close. Oh, it's there. We got supported on the 50-hour moving average. Okay. So a little bit of work to do, for sure. Just want to see a higher low. This is pretty normal, actually, to fall back below your previous breaks of structure and retrace down. I mean, very often you'll see that happen on these types of trend lines here until, you finally get a push. But I do fear the wick here. Trying to see if there is an additional order block. I mean, I guess this could be considered an order block, but it's not very good. I mean, this was the candle here that caused that push up, but I don't know. I don't think it really holds much weight, to be perfectly honest with you. We'll see. I mean, the actual order block is here, in my opinion, because this is the previous swing low. Okay, we are starting to really get decent support on that little makeshift trend line there, but much more importantly is we are starting to get supported on the, or we have still maintained support the swing low was here. Okay, so I want that gone. This is the more important trend line. That's the most important trend line to hold. So we have done that. So that's nice. Looks like we're starting to get a nice move up. Maybe a nice 1-minute candle close here. We did just close a 1-minute candle over the 9 and the 20, and actually the 50 as well. So now I'm looking to get supported on those so that we can come up and have another bullish break of structure, at which point I'm going to be looking for interaction at 74.18, and I will adjust stop loss again. Hopefully we will get some sort of continuation this time. So far so good, actually. It's kind of early to tell, but I do have a feeling that this trade is going to end up going my way. I think that the bears have failed. I think they have failed to set a significantly lower low. I think they failed completely to show any continuation below the primary support trend line. And the bulls have successfully been able to maintain higher lows here. So I think that we are probably going to get the reattack here and then come right up and challenge that. I'm looking forward to moving my stop loss to a risk-free trade, which I can't do here. I won't do that until I break this, but I will at least mitigate some of these potential losses, which aren't really much right now. I mean, probably be like $90 or $100 or so right there. $86, I think is what it said it was. If we don't break this on this candle, which I don't think we will, I will settle. I'd be happy with closing just above this, which we have done. Okay, this should be the reattack. I'd be very surprised if we did not come up and challenge this on this candle in the next 45 seconds. Wow. Okay, first 30 seconds was down, showing support over some important moving averages. Okay, the last 30 seconds should be the break. There it is. Here's the pierce. Here comes the move. I am looking for this here. It's very close. We are above my entry yet again. It's good. I mean, I would say that the support of the total trend has held at this point. Okay. I don't think this is done either. Put no top wick on that. Beautiful. Give me the bullish break of structure on this next candle right here. I bet it does. I bet we at least pierce it. We may not get the separation, but I bet we at least pierce this on this candle. But again, this is kind of just like a checkpoint that I was looking to break. I really want it to break here. There's the pierce. Here's the challenge. Wow, this could be big. This could be it. There's the bullish break of structure. We are going up to challenge the trend line here. I'm up 85 on the trade. It is time to mitigate to a profit. I will go here at 74.07. I'm up 100 on the trade. Really expecting a pretty violent pullback when we get up here. So I am going to bring this up here now. Take as much off as I can. Hopefully I'm up 124 on the trade. There's the breakout of the primary trend line, which I did not expect. It would be amazing if that would push. I would love to get supported here right now. That was textbook, man. Where to interact with? This zone right here. Oh, please don't stop me and go ahead and break this right here. Please do that, because that's a perfect candle. We do that. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Push, push, push. I'm up 222 on the trade. I'm still going to keep this here, though, because, man, now we broke that one, too. Let's go. Man, why did I remove these again? Right there. I'm marking targets. Where's the pullback? Where's the price? So zoomed in, or so zoomed out on a 1 minute time frame, I can't even see them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of this off the table. Lock some of that in. We're up 300 on the trade. This is a nice one. This is my first trade of the day, too. I took my time on this. I really wanted to see what XRP was going to do. Looking for support here. Can we take that out? I mean, that's a big bullish break of structure if we do that. There are so many imbalances here, though. That's big. We're up 315 on the trade, 320. You guys can see I'm not bullshitting. Yeah, it's down here. 340 on the trade. Okay, we're looking for the test of that swing high there. We're currently interacting with this one here, but I marked one that's slightly above it. You guys couldn't see what I was just pointing at, sorry. All right, we're up 320 on the trade. This is definitely a good trade, for sure. Glad it ended up doing what I thought it was going to do. I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit because we have probably just rocked the 1618 from there to there. That's my guess. Actually, it's probably a little higher than that. Let me do here to here. We may not even have begun this move yet, actually. Let's see. Going from the previous swing high here, which my stop loss is below. I'm up 400 on the trade. We are on approach of the 1618 right there, and that's nice. Oh, man. Let's go. Let's go. Having a hard time grabbing my stop loss and moving it right now is a good problem to have, actually. All right, finish the move. I think I'm gonna put it right below this, 7604. Finish the move. Finish the move to the 1618. I'm up 406. Okay, I'm out. That was a nice trade. $400. That's a nice one. Okay, it was a 20x long. I'm not going to share it though. So yeah, exit at 12:10. When did I enter? Okay, so that was $383 on that trade, which is good. That's a nice one. We are definitely going to get some sort of a pullback initially because we haven't even begun. I'm glad that that went my way, but we are extremely oversold on the one, or overbought on the 1 minute. We have so far failed to break the 1618 Fibonacci extension zone. We haven't even tested it, but I guarantee you everyone in the world is watching the XRP chart right now. I guarantee it. Sorry about the choppiness, guys. It's moving around a lot on me. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to take another one? I think I'm going to go ahead and take a break for a second, guys, because I've actually been sitting at the computer for about 3.5 hours now. But that was a nice trade. I'm not ending the live. I'm going to come right back. I'm just going to get something to drink, maybe a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. You guys stay put. Okay. I had forgotten to unmute my microphone, so you guys didn't get to hear any of the commentary during all of that. I apologize. So basically what just happened, what I was just babbling on about, clearly, apparently to myself, was this powerful move is a small head fake to the upside, followed by a very powerful move correcting it to the downside. If this ends up being a head fake and we re-enter this pattern, there are all kinds of imbalances here now. Let's look at the 15-minute. Technically, there is no imbalance on the 15-minute because we don't have a third candle to confirm this. However, it is kind of implied at this point that that's going to happen. On the 5-minute, there's an imbalance here, confirmed imbalance here, and a confirmed imbalance here. So pretty much this whole area is an imbalance. I mean, that was a very, very, very violent move. Looking at the 1-minute, I mean, very, very quick. All kinds of 1-minute imbalances that never got filled. And the 1-minute, yeah, the 1-minute is buried. Is it as low as it can go, though? That's what I really want to know. This is the area that it gets to on the 1-minute where it does reverse. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am considering taking a long on this because there are so many. I mean, so far this order block has held. It seems like this one is now trying to hold again. Well, I mean, technically it's smoked. It doesn't even count anymore, but it made a new one here after making that low. So that is possible, but it's very, very shaky. I'm very tempted to take a trade here. Let me just see what that would look like if I did it here. That's way too big. It's way too big. I would have to go smaller than I really want to. But the target to the upside is absolutely up there. So it would give me my 3-to-1. I could just tone it down a little bit, I suppose. So that would be, what, 10,000 versus the 20,000 I was doing. Very risky taking a long here. I don't have confirmation. What I do have is a great sell side liquidity sweep. That's what I do have. And I have imbalances all the way up here that will or that should attract the price. But that doesn't mean that we can't get one more wick down. Maybe even more powerful than before. I think I want to roll the dice on this one a little bit. Give me one more pullback. Give me a pullback down to like here or something like that, so I can put my stop loss below this order block. You're not going to do it though, are you? RSI is definitely improving on the 1-minute, and it was buried. I think I'm not going to be that lucky. I'm looking for a bullish break of structure, or I'm sorry, actually a change of character is what it would be considered now, because I have a clear, obvious, resounding downtrend. So I'm going to be looking for a change of character on, I suppose, this swing high right here, because it was the one that led to the overall dump. Let me make that big. Or I'm sorry, that is the last swing high before we set the swing low there. So I'm looking for the break there, the market structure shift. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I can't justify taking a trade down here. I want to because it's order block, but I also would be hoping for, I'd be trying to catch a falling knife, basically, because there's no guarantee that I'm going to get continuation up here. So what I want to see is this. I want this. I have a clear downtrend. I have a sell side liquidity sweep at a key area. I want the market structure shift to occur, which I think it actually is about to. That'll be the change of character. And that will look like this. That'll be a break here, a return to the fair value gap, preferably closing this fair value gap, and will likely come up to test this swing high and then get rejected. Hopefully on the rejection here, it will cause or no, I'm sorry, hopefully on the attack, it will cause a fair value gap that on the rejection I can enter and then put my stop loss here below liquidity. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Once that happens, if that happens, I would then need to see, in order to be confident in the trade, the price return to whatever the swing high is on the push up, and then give me a bullish break of structure that would let me know that there is some sort of a reversal that is playing out or starting to set itself up. This could actually be a very, very nice trade. And I'm definitely going to go big on it when it does. That is a market structure shift, but it has not gotten any continuation of any kind. I'm so tempted to just take it on the order block. Just take it like right here or something, like right at the swing low, and then put my stop loss below here. That's a pretty big stop loss. I really don't want it to be that big. Legitimately, I'd rather it be there at about, 0.5%, give or take, which waiting for the proper reversal here would allow me to do. It would also make it so I'm not taking a trade below these EMAs, which I don't really think is a good idea. Okay, looking to set a higher low here. We've pierced what would be considered a market structure shift, but we didn't get any continuation. I'm very glad I did not take that trade there. Looks like we're trying to set higher lows here. It's kind of sporadic. There's no real clear trend line here yet. Did that put XRP negative on the day? Oh, yeah. Wow, I can't believe we didn't get a breakout there. Can't believe that didn't happen. Really, really felt like that was going to be nice. Bulls definitely look like they want to step in here. I know they do. But again, I cannot justify taking this trade until I get my market structure shift. And after a pullback that violent at such an important area, right at the end of the pattern too, like I cannot be a cowboy with this. Like I can't turn around and just, take a huge position just because it's here at this order block. I mean, yes, there are traders that do that, but this is one of the top 10 cryptos, which means, and it's certainly the most popular crypto right now, which means that there are so many retail traders watching it that they will not buy it unless they start to see it re-enter this pattern. They just won't. So, wow, what a nightmare that one was. What a gross dump, too. So fast. This order block held. Are there any other significant pools of money that I need to be aware of here? The hourly actually doesn't look bad. Oh, wait. Yes, it does. That's a huge top wick. Choppy, man. All right, so let's take accountability of what just happened. I had a head fake to the upside here. Supported. Lower high. Sell side liquidity. This actually pushed up first. Swept the buy side liquidity here for anybody who went short during here, I would imagine. This move up also destroyed a lot of short stop losses at each one of these swing highs. Okay, but that was not a lower low, technically. In the grand scheme of the pattern, it's actually the next swing low, if it holds. If that truly is the lowest we end up going, then it is just the next swing low. More to the point, if I get rid of this, this move plays into the larger smart money concept strategy here, which is identical to the small one I just showed you. It's just on a much larger time frame. So here on the hourly, you have a clear downtrend, sell side liquidity swept, came up, held support, set a higher low, had the break here, which would have given you a market structure shift in this range, the pullback, holding support, still setting higher lows than here. Finally, this pullback, it's still choppy, it's not perfect. I'm also looking at it on a longer time frame. The 15-minute chart would probably be better for this, but it'll just take up too much of the screen. You guys really won't be able to see it easily. Because there was an additional swing high in here, I believe. I need to redraw that, I think, because I think that's going to be very important. Yes. So I had this swing high here. I think probably this is going to be the more relevant. I'm starting to think maybe I should just consider this to be my overall pattern market structure shift, because that actually did set the low of the pattern. That actually makes a lot more sense if I'm looking for a longer term position. Wow, can't believe that. Made almost 400 on the push up. Lost about the same on the way down. So, I got wrecked on that entire move. I made and lost every dollar you can make and lose on that on both of those moves. That's fun. That order block has just been tested again with a higher low on a 5-minute time frame. Let's look at the 1 minute. Is it improving? It is improving. That's a higher low. Still haven't gotten back above that yet, though. On the 1 minute time frame, this is the market structure area that needs to get broken. But I really feel like taking a trade anywhere in this range is super dangerous. I think I would rather wait until that to be the actual market structure shift, because I could very easily just punch straight down through here. Let's talk about downside targets, actually. Let's see what happens there. I feel like it's definitely possible here. I'd be looking for an interaction here with the 70. Also be looking for that right there to be a significant area. I'm going to do the targets in green, even though it's to the downside, just so you guys know. That would also be possible, 69.19. Of course, this swing low here. And of course, this swing low here. Now, understand, if we break that right there, I guess I don't even really need this. Did we get rejected anywhere near the golden pocket? We didn't even come anywhere near the golden pocket. Get that out of my face for now. Okay, based solely on price action, these are the initial short-term targets. Now, if we break this, if we take this very last target out, then we are going to start looking at this order block at 61. This little hesitation that it had here, these little 3 candles. This zone right here is going to be difficult to trade. Very, very difficult. A lot of chop in there. But I promise you, if you end up breaking this at 57, we are coming almost all that. We are absolutely going to mitigate most, if not all of this giant imbalance here. I mean, I was afraid that XRP was going to make that move down to close those imbalances, which, I mean, it hasn't done yet, and it may not. But if we don't start taking out some of these very important swing highs here, and I mean now, like by the end of the day, or by the end of tomorrow, yeah, or by 8 o'clock tonight, that's what I'm going to say. What time is it now? 1. If by 8 o'clock tonight, we have not taken out at least the swing high we just set, but preferably this swing high at about 79, I have a difficult time seeing XRP does anything other than at least finishes closing this imbalance here. I have a hard time believing that they're able to do that, or that it's able to do that. So the clock's ticking for sure. Now, there's also this to consider. The overall trend is clearly up. So shorting XRP for any significant time frame here is actually trading against the trend. So let's see. Let me get rid of these targets here. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to redetermine a bias here. Clearly there's chop. I mean, it's tough to call any direction here. What I can tell you is that I'm now going to look at this as from the perspective of somebody who wants to take a short. I have a very energetic move to the upside, 104%. I have a huge blow off top right here. I mean, it's gigantic. I mean, that's a high of 96 and a candle body close of 78. So, I mean, it's huge. I have a reattack here with another blow off top, and we have failed to set any high over that area since. I have the push down, creating a fair value gap, so somebody would have went short here. Lots of stop losses right here. Yes. Okay. I actually want to mark that because there is going to be a ton of stop losses right here in this range. Stupid magnet. I'm sorry. Turn the magnet off. There's going to be a ton of stop losses right in that range right there. That is a liquidity pool for sure. Excuse me. That is an area that banks will target retail trader stop losses. There's also going to be a lot of liquidity on both sides of this trend line. It's the reason you're getting the head fakes is because the short stop losses are getting wrecked to the upside. The long stop losses are getting wrecked even more to the downside. So there's a lot of money on those trend lines right there following it. Okay, so that is an hourly close. Yes, that is an hourly close. That is an hourly close outside of this pattern, which is the first time we've done that. So far, we have not set a lower low in the overall pattern. However, this is setting up something like that. I mean, it would not be... I would understand someone taking a short on this. Probably a lot of people are going to take shorts on this, and they're going to enter right here on this trend line. Then they are going to put their stop losses right here. Or they're going to put it on this perceived downward trend line here. Either way, it's a really dangerous trade. Consolidation is rough. This is a rough one. We have maintained that trend line, however. But that kind of, I don't know, that kind of voids these. And I think that they are pretty important. I don't think that you can justify doing that. Well, actually, the only one it really voids is this one. Because I do have this connection point here as well. right there. Which means if that ends up being the case, and that's how I choose to draw the pattern, then that means there has been no sell-side liquidity sweeps, which of course is not true. But I mean, when I connect the wicks, that is why I like to connect the candle bodies, because it shows me where the liquidity sweeps are. I have to admit that structure looks good. Okay. That's not appropriate to do it there because I'm missing all the connection points here, so that's not really good. Even where this one is, doesn't quite make sense. I'm looking for multiple connection points. That does make sense. Did that re-enter the pattern on the candle bodies? I believe it did. Let me just double check. Wow, I think it did. Right there? No, it hasn't yet. It's close. Man, it's very easy to think that it is, though, isn't it? I mean, I can make a case for that very easily, especially if I draw from there. If I draw from there, then it never left. Confusing pattern. I mean, it's not really a confusing pattern. It's a symmetrical triangle. But I'm just trying to think where these retail traders are going to be putting those stop losses, man. Like, this little hesitation, that was a really bad dump. It really was. I can't believe that it was that violent. Okay. I think this is going to be one of those scenarios where you have a primary area of support and resistance, which is going to be drawn on the candle bodies. But then I think I also need to account for the candle wick connections as well. So I will actually use that there, because clearly they're going to be important. So that's what I will do. I will go ahead and put that there, and I will actually make that secondary resistance, excuse me. That was a 15-minute candle close that did not dump further. Interesting. Where are we at in the hourly? Okay, we're below the ones we want to be below. Or we're below the ones we want to be above. So far, this isn't even a revisit yet to the 21 exponential on the 4-hour chart, though. I'm going to look at the 2-hour. No help. Yeah, not really. I'm trying to find a exponential moving average that we have respected. Okay, the 8-hour, the 9 exponential moving average on the 8-hour chart. That has been respected so far. We have not closed an 8-hour candle below that. Now, granted, we still have 7 hours until that happens. Okay. Are you pushing down? Now, remember, I was considering a trade in this area, and I decided against it because we did not get a market structure shift. So it looks like we are testing the bottom of that trend line yet again. I mean, this looks exactly like it did up here, basically, when I originally took the trade. So that is a break of that trend line and a retest of that order block. I think she might, and that's a double top up here. If it takes this swing low out, we are almost assuredly going to push down. Okay, now I'm looking to size this up. God, man. If it wasn't in this order block right now, I would probably take a short. Because we have failed to hold some serious levels of support at this point. Man, it would be so perfect. Right there is where I would have put my entry too. Right on that trend line for the revisit. Wow. I'm very close to doing it. Clearly the bears are in full control. That is a lower low. If it takes that out, I mean, there's only that. This is tough. This is a tough trade. What's it look like? It's so easy to get wrecked here. It is so easy to get destroyed in this moment. Oh, wow. I haven't entered the trade yet. I'm sizing it up. I'm trying to figure out if I even want to do it. Because my overall target would be there. I mean, that would be a significant. Oh, guys, I apologize. I actually have a medical appointment. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I will hop back on later, let you know how it goes. Thank you for your time and attention, and I will talk to you guys later.